Hi, I'm Josh Bowman, Director of Product Management for QxControl, and in this lesson we're going to talk about bandwidth management, how to set that up, how to evaluate that, how to use it. So first we're going to go to the Gateways page. We're going to choose on the gateway that we'd like to work with, and you'll see now we have a networking tab that is available on the Gateway info page. So after choosing that, we'll see lots of graphs and information, and at the bottom of the page, you're going to see the bandwidth schedule. And you can see we don't have a schedule applied yet. So we're going to choose Add Bandwidth Schedule. And this is really easy. So we have preset integers starting at 0, where we could send nothing to the cloud, and this will all queue locally during that period of time. And we can go all the way to 10,000 megabits per second. There are so many options. They're actually going beyond the bottom of my screen here. So a lot to choose from. So let's just choose a median amount. Let's say during business hours, our total bandwidth is 100 megabit. We only want QxControl to use half of that during business hours. So we're going to choose 50. Then the next thing we choose is the schedule. So this will pull from available schedules on the schedules page. Best thing to do is in advance, go to the schedules page and create the schedules that you need to apply to bandwidth limitation. Or if you happen to see one that works for you, you can use whatever is there. So we've actually created a couple here in advance. One is after hours and business hours. So this will be our business hours limitation. You can see here 8 to 5. Monday through Saturday. We are going to limit the cloud upload bandwidth to 50 megabits per second. Apply schedule, and we're done. That was it. So you can see here we can toggle this on and off. So if you actually want to turn this off for a period of time or only turn it on when you feel that you need it, you don't have to delete and re-add. So very simple to do that. We can, of course, choose the edit button, and we can change this schedule anytime we would like. And we can also add additional schedules. Now we want to make sure that we're using schedules that do not overlap each other. And we have actually done that. So we're going to say we only have 100 megabit available total. And we don't want to go beyond that. And we don't want to use all of the bandwidth, but we do want to allow it to have more. So we're going to say 100 megabit after hours, and we're going to choose our after hours schedule. You can see the schedule I've created here completely surrounds the open business hours, so these are not overlapping. And we're going to choose apply, and you can see that both of these schedules are on and available. And again, I could toggle this on or off as I see fit. As I click on the icon for each, you can see here on the right hand side, it will again display the hours that the schedule is active. So that is very simple. That is very easy. So for the next step, let's just talk about how we can manage or we can view and see the results of what we're getting. So you can see here, the first thing we'll look at is the bandwidth metrics. And we can actually change the graph to indicate performance over seconds, minutes, hours, or days. So we'll go back to minutes, and you can see here we have various options for what we can evaluate. So what this is doing is this is showing the traffic that is being received over the WAN port and over the LAN port. So in the case of received, this means what kind of data are we pulling back? So this is in the case of the WAN, what are we pulling down from the cloud? And in the case of the LAN, if you do use that non-internet facing device network to isolate your devices, this would give you an indication of the amount of traffic that you're pulling in from that device network. And you can see a color-coded chart here on the left, giving you information, essentially a legend. And you can see here anywhere that you hover over data, it is going to actually give you a contextual menu here, show you the exact time and the exact measurement at that point in time. So a very useful tool, and you'll see it'll continue to scroll in as new data is received. On the right hand side, you'll see this is transmitted. So this is what we are sending. So in the case of the the LAN, so that's your local device network. We're really not sending much to those devices. That's more something that we receive. And in the case of the cloud, you can see here that currently on this gateway, we're spiking at around 13.6 megabits per second in terms of external bandwidth. That is what we're sending to the cloud. And just like the first graph, as we roll through at each of these points in time, it is showing us all of the relevant information at that time. We can also come into the gear, and we can choose to also monitor the WireGuard port. So this is showing VPN traffic if that interests you. You can also remove any of these metrics you'd like. And so, for example, if I only wanted to watch the WAN port and see what interaction we're having incoming and outcoming from the cloud service, we can do that. So very useful tool, and really helps you see if the bandwidth throttling is giving you the desired results. And then the next portion of this is the cloud upload metrics. And the simple way to explain this is when we have things that we haven't sent to the cloud yet, but we will, we have a queuing system that runs on the gateway and also in the cloud. And so what this is essentially showing you is how much information are you having queued that is ready to send to the cloud? How long is it queuing? So in this example, what we're looking at is on a per minute basis, and we can make all the same changes we did up top, but on a per minute basis, what we've seen is we had a spike of a 10-second buffer, a queue, prior to sending to the cloud with 2.3 megabit. So the two things should relate. So if I have a lot of traffic that would want to go to the cloud, but I'm throttling and I'm saying no more than 50 megabit, but I'm averaging 75, I should see my queue grow throughout the day until it synchronizes with the cloud later when we give it more bandwidth to work with. So these graphs are here just to kind of help you see the status of the throttling, as well as, even if you're not using throttling, it gives you great indication of your bandwidth usage as well as your network. So one more place that we can evaluate this information is on the live page. So those same graphs are actually available as widgets. And we'll just go ahead and look here. So down at the bottom in the other category, this is where we're continuing to add more data charts and widgets that allow you to build a dashboard to understand your system performance. You can now see gateway bandwidth, gateway cloud upload are now available bandwidth widgets. So we're going to go ahead and grab in one of each. So a difference here, in the case of we're at the gateway page, we've already selected a gateway. We already know which gateway we're looking at. If I drag in the widget, it's going to say select a gateway. Which gateway do we want to monitor? And if I wanted to build a dashboard in live and I wanted to manage or view many different gateways, I could actually drop in these widgets, save it as a view with selected gateways, and I could monitor many different gateways. In this example, we're going to start with just one. And at our current scope, we have one gateway available. So we need to first select that. And we'll do the same thing with the gateway cloud uploads. You can see now we get a truncated, again, it scales to the size that is available to it, just like everything else. If we go into a 1x1, these graphs will get much bigger. But you can see here the same contextual feedback. All the same things that we see on the gateway page are available here. One primary difference is we will have the choice of viewing transmitted or received. And so we just go to that gear icon and make that selection. Otherwise, everything is the same. And again, we could go in and from within that widget, change and choose other gateways if we would like to change it. So this is very valuable, and again, allows us to build not just live views for video, not just live view with doors to operate doors, but also we're building value into the live page where you can use this also as a health monitoring dashboard. So that concludes our lesson on bandwidth management. Thank you.